Hello YouTube, this is Alignment Game and welcome back to my many part series on how to make a full game. Now on the last video I had was just setting up the basic outline or map sort of for a simple game, and I'll put a link in the video and in the description in case if you haven't seen it. So, on where we left off was just setting up the fundamentals of just a game that has sort of start to finish with a character control where you can move, in 4 different positions. Now, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can add some obstacles, sort of, and how to make the a game a little bit more than just simple. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is going to add an enemy. So if this enemy would touch you, it will basically restart the game and you have to redo the map. So basically, to start off, I'm just going to add a cube, and in this case we're going to go ahead and give him a color to distinguish him. So what I'm going to do is put in material section, give him a color. So let's see, in this case give him sort of like a purplish color. And what you want to do is give him a physics type, and the physics type should be dynamic. So he can now, so if we hit play, he doesn't fall through the map or anything. And after that, one thing that's also good is to keep things organized. So what I like to do sometimes is on the tab where it shows you all the different names of the objects that's on the actual the screen. I usually find which one that I need to categorize. So this one, let's make him an enemy. So we're gonna call him let's see, NPC. It's good, PC. And yeah, it's also good to go ahead and do it so it makes things easier to find. So after that little thing, then we actually start giving him some features. So if you had the bottom portion with the game logic still open, and if you don't, it's just right here where instead of a timeline, you just switch to game logic. And what you want to do is add 2 sensors. So the first sensor would be a always, and the other one will be a collision. And I'm going to show you each individually. You can go ahead and add 2 ands. You don't have to because it will do automatically. And in this case, we're going to add 3 actuators. The first one is a edit object. The second one is a game actuator. And the other one is going to be a motion. So the first one, for edit object, you want to change the edit object to track to. So, and you want to go ahead and connect them. So what this will do is that it will always face our characters wherever our player goes. And basically we want to put the object to our player. And after that, now basically, if it worked correctly, as the object, the cube, is facing our character wherever we move. Now then, after that, what we want to do here with a game is that we're going to change it to restart game. And this is when, if our character gets hit by the enemy, it will reset itself. So we want to go ahead and do that for our and for the second one, and put it in our collision. And also for the property, that's where in the last video where I showed you how to put a property for our character, this is where it comes in. So right here we put it to player, so it recognizes it. And for our motion, we're going to give him a character motion. And this is kind of sort of sensitive, so I kind of leave it as just 0.10, because if you put it in more, it kind of gets faster. So when you hit play, oops, then it adds something. Oh, because we forgot to add the connector. So it's always right here. So now he started moving, and if he hits us, in this case, the game will reset itself. Yeah. One thing that I realized is that when the character and the enemy collide and it restarts the game, it should have just kept on going from when it started, but it kind of stopped. But the thing was is that you have to make sure you also save, because what it does is that when it resets itself, it reloads the Blender file. And when I basically started up and it hit itself, it just reloaded the part where the game hasn't had the enemy or movement or anything. So basically, is that after you add this, save it, and now the game will basically work. So that basically was kind of a little confusing thing. I thought it should just loaded up the actual game when we fired it out, but that's that. So now we basically added the enemy, and the other part I wanted to show you is to add a switch, which in this case when we hit the switch, the a barrier or a wall in this case would basically disappear, and therefore if you can go to the end goal, which is our door that we set it up. And to do this, we basically, if we move the enemy to the side and we reposition the wall, the door, and put it in the corners, so have some room. And you can go ahead and also expand about the walls and then the terrain, so it gives you some space. And then basically, to start off with our little barrier, just add another cube, and you want to go ahead and expand upon it. Just make it like a sort of like a wall size, and basically make it so that it's enough to cover the wall, so the player has no way of basically going through it while first hitting a switch. So we go ahead and add it here. You can go ahead and add sort of a material. In this case, let's see, make a darker blue sort of. And then now, if we play the game, character has no way of getting to the end goal. And let me go ahead and, let's see, just make it sort of a different color stand out. And now you want to go ahead to add the actual switch, is to make two cylinders. So in this cylinder, I kind of like to make it this switch distinguish, so it's kind of easier. So just add a little bit of expanding, so it kind of has a actual looking kind of switch. So just position it like so, and after that, add more materials. So white, and let's put the middle for the button to be red, and you can go ahead and expand down. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and select all, and you can press the Control J to join them, or you can go ahead and do it through the tab right here. So once you have basically your switch, you want to go ahead and go to the physics type, and you want to change the physics type from static to sensor. And then right here where the game logic is, we're gonna first select both the switch and the wall, because they're gonna be in part of each other. So for our cylinder here, we want to go ahead and add a collision, and you can add, and where our wall is, you can go ahead and add an object, and this is gonna cancel out the wall barrier when the player hits the little switch here. So go to add object, and you want to press it to players. So now you can go ahead and connect them like so, and then put the property to player, and then let's just test it out to see if it works. Put our character back. So then now, hold up. make it a little bit bigger. And you can go ahead and change the, I prefer it in this case to make a top down so it's easier to see what you're doing. Go ahead and put a little bit more down, yeah. Zoom out. And now let's try it again. Huh. Give me 1 second. Let me see. If that, tap, make sure. Track to, everything's fine. I don't know why it isn't being. Yeah, one other thing I forgot to do is that we're supposed to change the edit object to actually end object, because in that way, now if we hit the game and we hit the switch, the object actually now disappears, the wall, and we can finish the game. So there was kind of a little mix up there, but basically you have your switch and you have your enemies, and you can if you want to add difficulty to the game, you can go ahead and just duplicate multiple enemies or add many layers of switches or walls to enhance it. So basically now we have some little bit of obstacle to go through before we actually hit our little goal or checkpoint. And this is adding just a more sort of a dynamic. You can obviously keep adding other things to make it, like you can put some animations into it, and have the enemies and characters look more uh, appealing. But this is just to show you the basic fundamentals of how to create a basic game. So that was that, and make sure you look forward to part 3 where I show you how to do other things like adding some uh, more different levels and to put an actual ending or intro to start the game so it expands upon itself. So thank you watching so much. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. This has been Enlightenment Games, and I'll see you in the next videos.